Well, with me here is none other than Professor Mwambusha, a scholar of history here at Makerere University. Thanks for joining me, Professor. Well, Professor, the whole issue at hand is about the unrest now in the Rwenzori sub-region, more specifically in the district of Kasese.
The historical injustices, among other reasons, surround the lake, the land question, the resources in the Rwenzori region. One is that the national park, Queen Elizabeth National Park, displaced some people. Then the government also created resettlement land and the prisoners' land in that area.
It's a question of marginalizations of the minority groups, which are the Basongora, the Nyabindi, the Bachenga, and the Bagawa, and so on.
The Bakonzo may be a numerical majority, but they have felt that to a certain extent, under the current regime, they are a political minority in the sense that they have a perception that the current regime actually supports the minority groups. The vivid example is the recent meeting of the minorities in the Kasese region with President Museveni leaving out the Bakonzo. Two, when there was land redistribution, it was land, I think, which was prisoners' land, and it was being redistributed. It is said that the Bakonzo actually get less.
From the best of my understanding, the Bakonzo are one of the lucky tribes in this country that actually have partly enjoyed the national cake from the inception of the NRM up to today.
They claim, the Bakonzo, that the development projects that have been promised to them, including the revival of the railway line, the creation or revival of the airport, has not benefited them all in that region. And yet, when it came to sharing of the public land that was now being privatized, they were left out. And again, under NRM, for a long time, the government refused to recognize their kingdom.
The kind of unrest that is being seen in Kasese is embedded in the whole long-term differences between the Bakonzo and the Batoro.
Bakonzo and other communities within Kasese district and Bundibugyo district were put under Toro Kingdom administration, and Toro Kingdom administration, according to them, marginalized them in terms of access to political resources and economic resources. So there was that anger, and since that time they have resisted domination and exploitation of the people in that region by the Toro Kingdom and the British government. And therefore they have got a history of resistance.
One would question, if you were given a district, because if that was the major cause of your fightings with the Batoro, and now, later you demanded for a cultural institution and a cultural leader, which was given to you, what is that driving factor now?
5%, I don't know, because, for example, some of the resources, like Katwe Salt Lake, is still under Toro Kingdom. There are some assets of Toro Kingdom that are within the Obusinga Rwenzori. So they still have an axe to grind about the resources that belong to Toro Kingdom but are within Rwenzori Kingdom. That's one. Two, when Kasese was granted a district, it was one district including the other communities like the Basongora, Banyabindi, Bagabo, and the rest. Today, there is now a move to create more districts and more kingdoms out of the Kasese district. And therefore, I think the Bakonzo feel that their territory is now being divided.
What do you make of statements being made by the IGP?
There is nobody, a candidate in Uganda, who would promise to a community to break away from him I think that is not rational. I don't think that was made. Possibly, if there was any promise, is that he would give them more resources from the central government or something like that. But he cannot say that it would break away. Nobody would promise that.
So what about the perception, the way government perceives the Omusinga Mumbere as being, as meddling himself so much into political affairs, contrary to what the act that establishes cultural institutions say?
It is a fallacy to say that cultural leaderships are not involved in politics. They are involved in politics, but there is a lot of hypocrisy and pretense that they are not involved in politics, or for that matter, that the national leadership is not involved in cultural leadership. It is one way or the other, and it can take advantage of the cultural politics to get political support.
There must be either consideration of abolishing the Obusinga Bwaranzo rule. Do you think that that would be a good move, or it will worsen the situation?
Move is having a dialogue, a structured dialogue, where all the communities and the government would meet, and the government plays a neutral role, so that if any other community wants a cultural kingdom, they would find ways and means of how to accommodate each other and where to put the cultural boundaries. And furthermore, now that they have voted opposition, there is a perception out there that the government will be outrightly going to recognize the other kingdoms like that one of the Basongora. And to the Bakonzo, I think they feel that that should first be negotiated because, for example, there are very many Bakonzo who are living in Bundubujo. And therefore, the cultural boundary of Obusinga spills over into the territorial boundary of Bundubujo. And that complicates the matter.
Thanks, Professor Mwambusha, for joining us on this interactive news segment where we discuss issues that affect the people. Thank you very much.
Thank you.